Time now for the heat index, and this morning's hot button, consumers fighting back against those annoying robocalls. One woman won big against a cable giant that wouldn't stop calling her. We're going to tell you how you can fight back too. ABC's Lindsay Davis here, though, first with all the details. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Robin. More proof this morning that unwanted phone ring could mean ka-ching. This latest judgment and others before it should empower consumers to know they have the right to make big companies pay big money and account for those unwanted robocalls.
We've all fallen victim to it. But this morning, one Texas woman is cashing in on it. Time Warner Cable ordered to pay her nearly $230,000 after more than 150 robocalls were made to her cell phone.
What the judge thought was also particularly egregious was that they kept calling her after she filed a lawsuit against them.
Just look at this phone record. 6 calls in less than 12 hours. Turns out the calls weren't even for her. According to an FCC regulation, it's actually illegal for companies to robocall personal cell phones without the consumer's permission. And if a consumer sues, they can be awarded between $500 and $1,500 for each of those calls. 68% of cell phone owners say they receive at least some unwanted calls. A quarter of them say it happens several times a week. This man was called more than 500 times in a year and a half.
Hi, can I speak to Leroy?
See,
Leroy?
hello.
Hi, Leroy?
Yes.
Hi, may I speak with Leroy Buckholz?
Don't bother calling me anymore.
He also sued the company that was calling him and settled for $275,000. And this 17-year-old high school student was called 204 times for a debt she didn't know.
And they started calling 2 and 3 times a day, so I just shut the phone off.
Stop it today.
The FCC passed new rules just last month, making it harder for robocalls to reach you. But experts say most consumers still don't know how to fight back.
This is what Americans will finally know is my right. It's my right to not be harassed by these people.
A spokesperson for Time Warner Cable told us that they are looking into their options to determine how they will proceed. Now, if you're one of those people who is annoyed by robocalls, the lawyer that we spoke to said keep a record of the calls, determine the business that's making the calls, tell them you want them to stop calling immediately. If they keep calling you, Robin, you can sue.
All right, Lindsay, thank you. So many of us get these calls and they will not stop. So we want to know how you can fight back, and that's why our legal analyst, Stan Abrams, is going to weigh in on this. So first of all, the legal aspect of it. What are our legal rights?
This is a federal law, and it makes it against the law for basically telemarketing purposes, robocall, automated calls with recorded messages to either a landline or a cell phone.
Either one.
Either one. And it used to be tougher on cell phones because remember, of course, it used to be before we had these unlimited plans, you had to pay for every call you got. And so immediately they went after the cell phone saying, wait a sec, I don't want to have to pay for these calls from these people sending these automated messages. Now you're seeing that the landlines are catching up to the cell phones. Bottom line is, it is against the law to do it.
So we have our rights here, so what do we do?
Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to ask the company, if you're getting them, to stop doing it. You want to ask to speak to a customer service representative. You want to get put on their do not call list. If that doesn't work, then you start to take some action. So I would say take some notes, for example, on exactly when you're getting the calls. Really important to have logs of exactly what time those calls are coming in. And the best thing you could do is try to record the messages. I mean, if you can actually tape record them, then you've got the ultimate piece of evidence, because then you can bring it to a lawyer and you say, look, I've got these logs, I've got these notes, I've got these unwanted calls. Remember, you have to have made it clear that it's unwanted, and you're talking about $500 to $1,500 per call.
Yeah, so you got to have some proof to let people know that. How about political calls that we receive?
Right, those are a sort of a gray area right now, and some of these new regulations that Lindsay was just talking about could make it illegal for pollsters to be doing their kinds of calls as well. It's kind of a gray area right now, particularly in the landlines. But some of the pollsters are concerned that some of these new regulations are going to prevent them from doing what they do.
And debt collectors?
Debt collectors, same thing basically as telemarketers when it comes to robocalls.
Good to know. All right, Dan, thank you.